Okay, well, I think I'm live. Just a second, let me check it. Okay, well, it looks like that worked.
Okay, you are on the couch.
Yep. Okay, well, I don't know if there's anybody else here. I'm going to flip over to the moon. Do you see the moon and then me in the bottom right corner?
Not yet. I think there's a time delay.
There's going to be a little lag.
There's the moon with you in the corner.
That's me in the corner. That's me in the spotlight. And then you see the moon moving around here in a moment. You can shut it off now.
The X out.
Yeah. Well, I'm hoping that somebody shows up for this. I'm doing a live stream, and everything seems to be working. At least as far as I can tell. Oh, I see someone's joined me. If can type in the comments, let me know that you're here. Say hi. Let me know who you are. I do apologize. There's a bit of lag here. Um, so if you type something in the chat window, I'll probably see it there before. Uh, if you, I'll try to reply there. Hello, Butch.
Cooler litter box, but it needs extra litter.
And I'm going to get my face out of here. You came here to see the moon, not me. I'm going to use the digital zoom to come in a bit closer here. And one of my favorite places to observe on the moon is right here. This is called Sinus Iridium. Yeah, Butch has mentioned that Copernicus is showing off. I'm sorry, I'm also monitoring this on my phone, so if I've got a little confusion, it's because my own voice is coming back through my hearing aids and it's a little confusing. But yeah, Butch was coming that Copernicus was showing off, and there it is right there. And then Kepler off to the left. And no, I did not memorize that. I tend to live by the words of Einstein, who said the only thing a scientist should commit to memory is the location of the library. I'm using an app on my phone to show or to look at various features. For example, even though it's nothing you would ever see through a telescope, down around in this area is the Apollo 11 landing site. And somewhere in this area is Apollo 12. I'm going to have to look that up. Okay, the Helicon, which is, don't know if, because I messed with the focus a bit earlier. Okay, Helicon is somewhere around here. Well, Butch, how much detail were you able to make out? I mean, I know you can find the site, but you really can't see anything at the site, can you? Might have some clouds starting to move in. Let me zoom back out. Okay, that's not too bad. I like that in SharpCap, I'm actually able to control the scope. If I want to, I can control the focuser. I played with that a little bit earlier. Well, quite often I get asked by people if they can see the flags on the moon or see the Apollo spacecraft on the moon. And it's just a matter of size. Well, it's going to look clearer when it's zoomed out because it's not an actual manual or physical zoom. It's not an optical zoom, it's digital. All I'm doing is just blowing up this image. It's like this is the image at 100%, which is slightly larger. I mean, I can, with this, I can blow it up 800%, but all I'm doing is just blowing up the pixels, and that makes it look pretty awful. Oops, that's a little too small. Yeah, another bird just flew in front. Maybe a bat. Oh, somebody else has joined us. And they left again. Check something here. I'm seeing a little bit of haze moving in here. You can probably see it too. Actually, I might do is come over here on the limb. Oh yeah, I can see clouds moving across. I knew that tonight was going to be iffy at best. Just sit here and just watch the clouds roll across. Yeah, and as it gets darker, you can see more noise on the camera as it's trying to get the image. Now, I shot some video earlier that I'm going to stitch together, stack and stitch together to make an image of the entire moon as it was visible tonight. And I'll hopefully post that in the Slack channel. I'm kind of wondering because one of my astronomy buddies up in Boston, I'm sorry, outside of Baltimore, I think it is he's doing a live stream as well, but it's actually associated with an astronomy club directly, so there is a lot of promotion there. I'm sorry with the lag. You were going to suggest what? I'll type that too. Well, I shot 4 different videos of 4 different quadrants of the moon. That way I can stack them and overlap them. I've done mosaics before of the moon. Although usually not I mean, even zooming in, you can see the seeing here is actually, gonna zoom in 150. The seeing is remarkably steady. I mean, you can look here. Let me see what those craters are. Zoom out. Okay, that's going to be that's west and up from Copernicus. So looks like Eddington and Russell. Maybe not. Uh, yeah, that is. I believe that's Eddington and Russell. Oops. To our third person who's joined us, because it's kind of quiet here tonight. Welcome in. Please identify yourself. Uh, like to know like to know who's joined us. Yeah, it looks like Butch Bill on me too. I'm going to zoom back out. I have to remember I'm using two windows here. And I'm going to scroll down here. I'm looking at the northern part of the moon, so you stop and take a look at the southern part of the moon. So the large crater with all of the rays is Tycho, named after. Yep, you're right there, Butch. Oops. If you haven't gathered, I'm also following along on my phone. That gives me an idea of how bad the lag is. And I try to keep the volume down on it so it doesn't cause me to stutter. Let's see. Stop. There we go. Yeah. So many people do astronomy, and like those of us who like to do deep sky imaging, for the most part, we curse the moon because it's bright and it ruins our nights. And Butch does incredible artwork, and I know it keeps him from seeing the faint things he wants to see. But every once in a while, it's just nice to find this nice, easy target to aim at and just take a look at it. And I think that's why they do the International Observe the Moon Night. Definitely. Even when I had my really lousy little telescope when I was 10 years old, I could see the ejecta blanket of Tycho, and I just thought, whatever hit there just must have made an incredible splash. Oops, did not want to do that because it was in the wrong window. Well, a lot of what I'm doing here tonight is proof of concept just to show that I can do this. When you did the cratering lab, did you do the flour with the cocoa powder? By the way, I think the lag is about 10 seconds. I don't know if you just saw that. There was something big up here. When I went to Goddard Space Flight Center for one of their educational outreach programs, they taught us to use flour and cocoa powder, probably a little cheaper than tempera paint. Let's zoom back out here. Let's For impactors, we use a variety of things. We use marbles, um, ball bearings of different sizes, super balls. Wanted to try to keep the mess of our ejecta blanket as minimal as possible because, of course, somebody has to clean it up. Okay, it looks like we're getting a little bit more turbulence than we had earlier. It's not bad yet. In fact, let me do a quick capture here. Just do 1 minute. And my tracking tonight is not ideal. I mean, you can't really do guiding when you're doing lunar. I think at some point need to do this. Let's see. Forward that way. Yes. See about trying to get the other hemisphere in here. Let me close that. Thank you. Wouldn't mind a few more folks here to help keep conversation going. Not that you're not doing a fine job on your own. We'll do another capture here. Got a lot of things flying around out there tonight. We'll say I've done viewing and observing and photography on worse nights than tonight. Let's see about zooming in on the north there, just taking a look. Just see the little peak sticking up there. Okay, it looks like that crater is Pythagoras. It has a little central peak in it there. Then the larger one beside it is Babbage. And it looks like Herschel. Yeah, I'm not sure who decided which this would be the night to pick. because when the moon, when the moon's this full, it's not the best time to look at it. Oh, wait a minute. Speaking of central peaks, over here in the west, right there, it's really starting to come out now. When I first started this evening, that central peak was just barely visible, but now it's starting to come out. Okay, that crater there is Hevelius, and I am not even going to attempt to pronounce that one. Well, now I'm going to have to find that. Well, there's Mare Frigorum. Now, I think using Nina, it would also be possible to do a live stack and do deep sky like this sometime. Wonder if we could do something like this. You're going to have to give me an idea of where that is. I think I know the area you're talking about. Oops. Talking about here? Because there's Plato. See a Protagoras crater. Oh, okay. So yeah, that's Harpalis. On the lunar map that I have, unless you zoom way in, you can't read the names of craters. I have one around here, but it's a little ungainly and unwieldy to use when I'm sitting at the laptop like this. Well, again, I'm going to zoom back out. The scope that I had intended to use would have been able to get the entire face of the moon, but unfortunately, being a Newtonian, it lacked the focus to use the camera. In fact, putting this together, this is actually the main scope that's in my observatory. This is the C8 XLT, and the camera, which is allegedly not supposed to be able to do high speed, the is the ZWO ASI 294 MC Pro. Um, it's really not noted for being able to do this sort of thing, but it was, I won't say it was last minute. I had a couple hours to try to get everything working after I discovered that I couldn't focus the Newtonian. And I was going to use the finder scope, the little 60 millimeter finder scope, but not having any luck with it at all. I mean, if I go over to its view, that's what I get. And there's a star there. You can tell it's not aimed at the moon, so I don't have those two scopes collimated together. And for a scope that's not supposed to be, or for a camera that's not supposed to be able to do this, I think it's doing a pretty good job. Yeah. Well, what I need to do is I need to go out and put an eyepiece put an eyepiece in the finder scope and get it at an angle. The angle it was at, I could not get my head around without bonking my head on the wall of the observatory or the overhang of the roof because it was right up against the edge. But what I need to do is I need to put an eyepiece in there and get it really centered, get them collimated so the view that I get through the main scope is the same one I get through the guide scope. You know, with guiding, it doesn't really matter, but if you want to try to use it as a finder, it's a lot more important. And I'm pretty sure I have the gain turned up way too much on that other camera. But when I go to check the other camera, it turns the cooler off on this one. So you can see the temperature, instead of being 0, it went up to about 4 degrees Celsius. Now it's cooling back down again. I keep seeing that we get a third viewer in here, but nobody's come in to let me know who they are. So if you're here and you're visiting and enjoying, just go over to the chat window and say, actually, I know what the problem might be. Let me see. Am I? No, it doesn't. I'm scrolling back through the chat. Doesn't look like I missed anybody. So I like a lot of what is going on over here. So I'm going to zoom in on that area. You can definitely see two really nice streaks of ejecta blanket coming off a Tico there. Talking about starting up here with Gassendi and then just coming around, or the ones over this direction. It's like Bergius here and Darwin. I don't know if Darwin has a central peak or not. I don't think it does. So these, yeah, I see we've got clouds moving in again. Right, these three. I'm going to let you enjoy this for a moment while I step outside and see what I've got going on as far as clouds. Because I think it may be starting to thicken up just a bit. I don't have an all sky camera. I will be right back. I just took a look and I have got a big bank of clouds closing in, and they should be covering things up here in just a matter of minutes. So I think this is a good time to close this out. And again, I agree with you. I think this is a successful experiment. I've looked here on my phone, and it seems to be working pretty well. Yes, I am. Well, thanks for stopping by. Oh, just had another viewer come in. I'm sorry, but we're just getting ready to button things up here because we've got a big bank of clouds that's going to be covering the moon here in just a couple of minutes. So I'm going to call it a night and close up the observatory for the night. So, but well, I thank Butch for showing up and keeping me company here. And we're definitely going to have to try this again sometime soon. So everybody have a pleasant evening.